And for more on former Senator De Lima's bail, today we're joined by her legal counsel, Attorney Dino De Leon. Attorney, thank you so much for joining us. What does the grant of bail say about the charges against the former senator?
Good evening, Rico, and to all our viewers. Well, it's very clear for us, right, from day one, that based on merits, Lila De Lima is innocent. So finally, this day has come. We've waited for it for far too long already. And we're so happy that that Senator Lila De Lima is given provisional liberty. I'd just like to read from the decision itself, or from the part itself. No? This is what the parts stated prior to the dispositive portion. Thus, assessing the totality of the evidence presented by the prosecution, the court is of the firm view and so holds that accused De Lima should be allowed to post bail, as the prosecution was not able to discharge its burden of establishing that the guilt of the said accused is strong. That particular quantum of evidence in criminal law is even lower to sustain a conviction. No? For purposes of bail, you only have to prove that the guilt of the accused is strong. For purposes of conviction, it is proof beyond reasonable doubt. So we are hoping, considering the fact that after assessing all the pieces of evidence, the prosecution was not able to substantially build on their case, even after the bail proceeding. So we are hoping, and we will put that in our submissions eventually, that eventually the case will be dismissed.
But attorney, you mentioned a key term there, no? Provisional liberty, temporary freedom. How will this help the former senator better deal with her last drug case?
Well, clearly it's a provisional liberty, so that means that the fight still continues. But right now, Senator De Lima is now free. That means that she can meet with her counsels more freely. She can do her advocacy works. She can peruse through the records herself. And as we know, Senator De Lima is a great lawyer. She was a former bar top-notcher. She was former and very fierce Secretary of Justice. She was former chairperson of Commission on Human Rights. So this allows the mobility, and the temporary liberty allows her to actually prepare more for her case and to coordinate with us, her lawyers. But the stage of the proceedings right now is that the prosecution has already rested its case. That means that they've already made a formal offer, and they're just doing a remarking, and then we will provide our comment when it comes to their formal offer. And thereafter, the judge will rule on their pieces of evidence, which ones are admitted, which ones are not admitted, and then we can file our demurrer to evidence, which we intend to do so.
So when do you think, attorney, will the courts come out with a final decision if the former senator will truly gain her real freedom and be exonerated?
Well, there will be 10 days. No? 10 days. We were given 10 days to comment on the formal offer of evidence, and thereafter, the formal offer of evidence will be submitted for resolution of the honorable court. So let's say, for example, that's the remarking is on the 24th, 10 days, that's around December 3. And then we will file our demurrer to evidence. So hopefully, the court will be able to act on it by hopefully January next year. So we are very hopeful that once and for all, Senator Lila De Lima will completely be vindicated in this last charge, because it has been very consistent right from the very start. The only reason why Senator Lila De Lima was prosecuted, or actually should I say persecuted, is the fact that she led the investigation in the violent war on drugs. The Duterte government wanted to shut her down, shut her up, to prevent her from fulfilling her mandate as a senator. And that's the only reason why these false charges were filed against her. So we are hoping that by January, Senator Lila De Lima's innocence will be complete, and that she will be completely be vindicated.
Fair enough. And of course, Attorney Dino, we heard the former senator thanking the judge and even the Marcos administration for this development in her case. But what does this say about the Philippine justice system?
Well, the justice system has been observed by the international community. There were reports from the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention about this case, reports from Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch. And, it is, despite the fact that Laila de Lima is free right now, it doesn't cancel out the fact that she was in jail for 7 years. The only person who has been a political prisoner who has been jailed longer than Laila de Lima is, I think, Ninoy Aquino. And she almost surpassed that particular record. The mere fact that the executive can still weaponize the entire justice system to gag a working senator into submission and to prevent her from fulfilling her mandate, that speaks an awful lot about our justice system, which is why it is very important for the public to still make sure that they will be focusing on this case, to constantly monitor this case, and for the international community to also constantly monitor this case, because this is not just Senator Laila de Lima's battle. The entire justice system is being tested, and whatever happens in this case is a testament on as to how our justice system works. No, of course, it should have been, it shouldn't have taken this long. That has always been the problem with this case. 9 judges have recused themselves or have retired earlier than expected for these 3 cases. No, and this is a petition for bail. And this is now almost the 7th year of Laila de Lima, and this should have been settled longer, but at least earlier. But at least it's now settled, and of course, Senator Laila de Lima is very thankful to the presiding judge for finally analyzing the pieces of evidence and for calling them as they are. They are not enough. They're very weak. There's no conspiracy. All the pieces of evidence presented by prosecution are weak, and they all don't link Senator Laila de Lima to any conspiracy to commit drug trading.
And Attorney, before we let you go, of course, the former senator is free to move around, roam the streets, wherever she wants to go. But it is also key that she is safe and secure. Will she have any bodyguards? Will she be supported by people as she moves around and continues with her advocacies? And of course, speak with her lawyers like yourself regarding this last drug case?
We have very limited means, unfortunately, as of the moment. Senator Laila de Lima doesn't hold public office, which is why it is important, as you've mentioned, to keep her safe, which is why we're calling on the government, the Philippine government, to ensure that Senator Laila de Lima would be able to continue with her advocacies, especially considering that she remains to be the most highest or most notable political prisoner, or at least she's now free, but political figure in the country, or at least a member of the political opposition. So hopefully the Marcos government would be able to ensure that Laila de Lima will be safe and secure. We have very limited means right now. Of course, our team will be taking precautionary measures, all the security measures that we can, albeit our limited means. But as you've mentioned, it is also important that the government will be on board in making sure that the political opposition will remain safe and that they will be able to continue on with their advocacies without fear for their lives and limbs.
Former Senator Laila de Lima, Legal Counsel Attorney Dino De Leon. Thank you, sir, for joining us on The Final Word.
Thank you very much.